Hi.
Hi, this is our second episode of the Wild Take podcast. And where are we right now?
We're away for the weekend. We've got a few days off work, so we're sitting in our car actually because we needed a quiet place to record. But we're at the really nice kind of eco guest house, probably about an hour and a half from where we live, and it's in a different kind of landscape from what we're used to. It's more sort of lowland, and you can do horse riding here. We haven't done any horse riding, but there's lots of nice walks, and there's lots of Sitka plantations on the low hills around, but there's also bits and pieces of old oak woodland and hazel woods and stuff.
There's also quite a few starlings who can imitate horse noises.
Yeah, that's true. And wind chime noises.
They go, how do they go?
Well, I think you do it better than me. That's pretty good, yeah. That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
They're just gorgeous little things.
And we noticed this morning when we woke up with the window open that this is the wood pigeons have started actually singing. So they actually do their like.
How does it go?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Come on.
It
goes... Ooh, 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 ooh,
yeah. So, exactly. So they're getting ready, and it's only the second week of
You
March,
just interrupted
so.
the pigeons. Yeah, it's really funny. And it's just nice to be alive this time of year. I go to yoga, and my yoga teacher said recently how much we're not really prepared for the spring because we spend the whole winter being really active and running around and doing stuff, whereas in fact most nature is just asleep, and we don't really do that. So when spring comes, we don't have that extra energy to give away, but still I'm finding myself sort of finding that I do have that energy somewhere, and I'm trying to give it away now, and it's really exciting to be this time of year. So the exciting news actually is that, what is the exciting news, Ed?
Jeez, okay, so the very exciting news is that last week we got a call at our place of work from somebody at the National Parks and Wildlife Service, very unexpectedly.
Hey, it's rolling. So
what happened?
Okay, so
Where are we now?
Okay, we're sitting in the car outside our place of work. We just got a phone call from a lady called Lynn.
Where is she from?
The National Parks and Wildlife Service, saying that our application for a wild take sparrowhawk chick has been approved.
Wow.
Which means that we now have the right to take a chick from a nest under the supervision of the local ranger if we find a nest that has at least 3 young in it.
Is that what you said? 3?
No, that's my memory of the license.
I thought it was 4. Anyway, we need to clarify that.
Anyway, so they're going to issue the license with a list of conditions on the back, standard conditions, but they don't want to issue the license until I tell them what our first preference for the site is, because I listed on the application like 3 or 4 different places.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to try and choose. Well, we are going to choose one, email them to let them know, and then we can kind of get stuck in. Man, this is it. Like, this is really exciting. And now, like, all of the kind of, now this is I feel like already, like, instantly my mind is a lot more focused, because now it's like a real thing, you know? Like, I was reading books, I've been reading books for the last couple of days, you know, the Ben Crane book and things like that. And I was, like, finding it absolutely fascinating and interesting, but it's still hypothetical. And I mean, it still is hypothetical, but now it's a bit less hypothetical, you know? Harry, what are you thinking?
I don't know, I think in a way I'm not really surprised, because I think I've always felt like they were going to give us a license somehow. I don't know why, because of the way others talked about it. So I'm feeling very calm actually, but I know it's the calm before the storm. So immediately after we learned about this license, we kind of had quite a few conversations with you, which are quite difficult to talk about on tape probably in details.
Well, no, just because we had I think individually kind of thought through sort of the implications if this is to go ahead, what the implications would be for our lifestyle and our plans for what we can do in the next few years, and
potentially 7 years
if we're really, really good.
Yeah.
It might live for that long, but we hadn't really. We had sort of talked about it, but I think that the news that we'd actually got the license, okay, which means that there's not really any barrier now to us going ahead and doing it. There's no real barrier, right? We're now looking for a nest, and
it's
when we find a nest,
it's
all in our hands.
Yeah.
Now that happened, it really, really made us think very carefully, and we ended up having a couple of big conversations where we just really like thrashed out what our expectations are and our worries are for it, and what we're kind of, even though we're both behind the idea, we sort of took the time to really try and think through what you give up when you do something like this. It's just like what you give up when you get a dog or you have children. It's similar kinds of
serious.
things.
I mean, it's quite serious in terms of time and commitment it will require from us. Like the amount of travel that we expect to do in the next year will completely be reduced.
I mean, not just the next year. I mean, the next year. For the whole of this coming summer and winter, that's completely intense.
Yeah.
It's the first burst. But I mean, look, there's a robin having a dust bath in the gravel.
Well, partly why we are away this weekend is because we realised that this might be the last time we could actually go away, potentially, for this extended period of time before. Yeah. Before
and we don't know either. I mean, we might obviously put the bird in the you have hunting season, then you have a kind of molt, and during sort of summer, like early summer, and that. We can't leave for that really either. I mean, I'm still not clear about exactly. What. I want to go into this knowing that we can do it all ourselves, and we're prepared to do it all ourselves, and it's possible that we'll be able to get a bit of help every so often from colleagues, that we know we can trust.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing, that we know they know very well what they're doing. But even so, that's got to be the exception. That's got to be the occasional thing.
For us to think that we've got to make this decision knowing that we might not be able to go and visit my family who is in Russia, or Ed's family who is in Scotland, and not potentially visit our friends or do any other projects that we love to do
that involve going away,
or even having spare time to do other things. Like we just got this canoe, and we might not be able to use it for a while. And we're talking about from now, we're already spending almost every evening looking for plucking posts and nests. And that's going to extend into the summer when hopefully we get a chick. Then we will be basically training and hunting with it until late February, early March, next year. So that's a big chunk of our time. So we're not taking this lightly. It's not a kind of decision that we just kind of like, oh,
yeah,
right,
so
well,
we've now listed loads of reasons why, or reasons against it. So we've got sort of we can't travel together. So maybe one of us can travel individually, but we can't travel together. We can't travel together anywhere. Our summer evenings will be taken up. Our winter weekends will be taken up. We're going to be unable to sort of do our the other projects that we have an interest in. So having
the stress that we will put on us as well.
That's
because we are beginners, and we are, we're going to be learning a lot of the stuff as we go along. So there's a lot of stress involved.
And potential for conflict.
But there's a bit There's a big but.
Okay, yeah, because
We're still deciding to do it.
Yeah, we're still don't do it exactly. So
And why?
having like listed all of these huge big list of things why it's crazy and it's gonna like ruin our relationship and it's like a really bad
insane.
idea. Like, why are we still doing it then?
Because hunting and spending time with a bird just gives me personally such enormous pleasure. And I was just thinking about how much we, hunted with Beltra and stuff and spent time with her, and I just did not feel a second that I was wasting time or that I wanted to do something else. Every single day we hunted with her from August.
It wasn't every single day, but
Especially
at the
towards the start,
end,
we did every
yeah,
single
we did.
day, and we didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Because it's a great opportunity, and sparrowhawks are amazing animals.
Yeah.
I think we're going to learn a great deal about ourselves and about nature. I feel like I'm already learning a lot about sparrowhawks just by looking at searching for their nests. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And what was it you read?
Where they come from and where they live, and
You read something about falconry in the Nick Fox book, about something about how falconry is like prepares you for life.
he does this like in Nick Fox's book. It's called Understanding the Bird of Prey, and I don't have the book here, but he has this amazing final chapter called The Philosophy of the Falconer, where he sort of lays out the benefits that falconry gives you for life, and it's like it sounds so old fashioned, and so it sounds very old fashioned, but actually, but he actually at one point he ends up talking about how, assessing the field and noting small details like the position of that particular bush and how it's going to affect the slip. It prepares you for your dealings in the boardroom or something. I was like, oh god, he kind of lost me there. But yeah, no, he still talks about how it prepares you for life and
because it gives you this intense relationship, with an animal, especially an animal like a bird. It's not a dog. It's different. It's different from any other animals. A bird of prey is never fully domesticated. It's always a wild being, and it's really amazing, really. So, I don't know. What do you think? What is it in it for you? I mean, why do you still want to do it despite all those things?
I don't know. It's partly that it's got a lot to do with just like wanting to sort of to kind of get involved to get involved basically. That's one of the things that he says in the Nick Fox book is like, when people sort of wonder when people wonder what the attraction is of hunting with a bird of prey, or what of the attraction of hunting in general. But I think actually maybe the case for saying this is true about falconry is much stronger. That you're not just like at the window looking in. He says like you're in the party. Like
you're not just studying an animal from far away.
Exactly, not studying. You're in the party. You're involved. This is the kind of predation, especially with a native bird of prey like the sparrowhawk. This is the kind of thing that's going on. Sparrowhawks are all over this countryside, hunting successfully, doing these amazing chases, and like surviving by their wits and their like fitness. All the time in their thousands around this country, and hunting with a sparrowhawk means, if you're any good at it, means being involved with that huge party. I mean, it's a party of life and death, but it's kind of a.
Yeah, I think I think you said it right. I think if I think about it carefully, I think I just have this strong desire to really connect with nature. Just not just connect with nature like humans connect with nature by going to the zoo or looking at, watching nature programs or, going camping or something, but really actually being part of nature, to really feel, what it feels to be part of nature. And I think this is the experience that, to an extent, we've already felt it with Beltra, but I think it will be very different when we have our own bird and we'll have to actually raise it from a chick, and the connection and the bond we'll have with it will be so completely different, and I'm just really, really excited about it. I always have to remember not to get too stressed out and actually remember how how much joy it's going to be to do all those things, you know. And it's already amazing. I mean, like what we've been doing like recently. Tell me about like the talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the exciting things.
So
that
this
we've
is the
done.
thing, is that you were saying about you have to remember to you sort of remember to enjoy it and everything like that, and that's definitely something we're going to have to remember going forward, because I think especially for me, like I always, there's always the risk that anxieties about unknown future things just kind of dampen down your ability to kind of get excited. Like I am excited about it all, but
You're
I don't
cautiously
sound
excited.
excited when I say I'm excited. It sounds like I'm totally bored. But I am really excited. But it's always completely tempered by this sort of huge sort of world cloud of possible things that can go wrong and that we have to get right. And I guess that's kind of that, that's just the way I am.
And also
you know?
like our like fear that we're not good enough and we're not going to be skilled enough as falconers and knowledgeable enough to really, do a good job, and just kind of not trusting our own abilities in a way, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I feel, we're just going to try and do our best,
But when you're actually in the moment and actually doing it, that's for me when the excitement and the fun is going to be, nothing's going to affect that. It's like the anxieties will be gone, because in the moment when you're actually doing something, or even in the act of solving a problem, that and it's anxieties disappear because you're dealing with a specific problem. And so that's why it's been so much fun looking for a plucking post. Like that's why that's what we've been doing. Looking for a plucking post, looking for plucking posts, looking for nesting sites. Wherever we've been, after work every day, we've been going to different parts of the woods. We come away for a weekend away. Yesterday we were just going to go for a walk up a hill, but we ended up just immediately going off the track, and we never got. We just explored woods. Basically, we found all sorts of exciting things. We were in the Sitka plantations and open oak woodlands, and we found evidence of sparrowhawks in both of those types of places. And in that, it's just totally fun. There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like foraging for food or something. It's like you kind of lock into the same mindset of like looking at the ground and looking for things.
Or looking for like archaeology. For me, I was just thinking how much it reminds me of being in an archaeological dig, because we've done that before ages ago, and it's just a similar feeling of you looking for little fragments around you, and it just gives you everything you find just gives you part of the whole picture of what's happening and where the actual nest might be. But then you'll never have the whole picture of what sparrowhawks' lives are. You kind of just try and guess, like, okay, so he plucked it here, and then he maybe plucked it there, and then was he looking at the nest? Because actually, very interestingly, what was that email from Martin Maloney that you got? He described really, really well how to find a nest.
Well, because
in relation to the plucking post.
so Martin Maloney, his name's mentioned in the Ben Crane book. He's part of the Irish Raptor Study Group, where he was, or he is, and he's been keeping records on sparrowhawk nests for more than 50 years. And I emailed him to try and get a bit of some advice, tips, just to make contact with him. And he wrote back describing what, a lot of things that are similar to what we've heard, plucking posts look like this, they're roughly this, 20, 30 meters from a nest. But then one thing that was really cool that stuck out was like looking at where the mutes are, where the droppings are, which side of the plucking posts are on, because that'll show you which way the male is facing, because he's going to be facing the nest, So
I think it's really amazing.
It's
really
like you say, it's like
fascinating.
archaeology in a way, because you have to. It's partly kind of deduction, but also imagination.
Yeah.
There's a lot of imagination going on.
You have to just kind of imagine like what he'll be looking. Why would he be looking at the nest from the plucking post? Because he's so committed to his nest, and his female who's sitting there hungry, and the chicks, and he's just kind of looking, and they're probably looking back at him from the tree, and he's plucking it and sort of looking at them and going like, yeah, I'm coming, it's coming, I'm bringing it to your nest. It's really exciting because we actually, so we looked for plucking posts not only here in this place where we are right now, but also quite close to where we work.
And we're in a mixed woodland among sort of rhododendron and some pine trees. And
some other things.
And some other things as well, like beech. And then I'm looking straight ahead, and through the woodland you can see a clearing, which is like a really long field. And obviously it's a very beautiful and nice spot to be hunting from if you're a sparrowhawk. So, well, I'm projecting obviously, but it seems like this was a favorite spot. So there's lots of very nice dry mossy stumps around, and that's where we're looking for things.
And there we found the most evidence of sparrowhawks. And what did we find?
We found carcasses, well, sort of bones. We found bones. You found beaks.
We just found an upper and a lower mandible from what we think is probably, what is it, a jackdaw head? Yeah. So what else do you see here?
Well, there's a lot of there's feathers on this tree stump. There's a rotten tree stump covered in moss. Tiny. That's a blackbird, isn't it?
The place where we were looking, it was more like several plucking posts. It wasn't just one. There was like 5 or 6, and they were all kind of around this mixed woodland, but predominantly Sitka spruce, wasn't it?
Yes, and
Pines.
But there is really signs of plucking everywhere, not just this stump. We've seen signs of plucking in several places now, around what we're talking about, like I don't know, like 20 meters around. Yeah?
Yeah, that's how far we've wandered.
And you found
What?
pine martens.
no, I didn't. It wasn't a pine marten, and it wasn't a stoat either.
We thought it was a
I got so excited.
Look, I think this is a stoat or something. Wait a second.
And there's some
Look at
bones
that.
here. Wow.
Look at that. That's a stoat skull. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look how long it is. Isn't that amazing? Look, that's his jaw. Look. That's,
Oh yeah, look. They're little bones. They're little bones here.
Yeah.
What? Why? What would a stoat? Do you think? No.
Look, look. There's his ribs. The entire thing just died here.
We got a skeleton. We found a completely beautiful
Sitting on
clean skeleton.
beautiful, just sitting on this mossy stump with the like nice clean ribs all spread out, and this beautiful, lovely flat skull. And I just like think, it's a stoat. And then
That is so beautiful.
I was sort of holding it in my hands, and I was like looking at the teeth, and I was like, "Ed, you idiot! It's a rat."
Wow, little teeth.
A very long front tooth.
What an amazing spot.
Yeah, really amazing. Whenever you go for a walk in the woods, there's always a reason why. You don't know why, do you? Or you don't always know why, but you always find out there's some reason why you went there. I'm gonna take a picture of this.
It's amazing. We haven't found any nests yet. That's just want to mention that we have not actually found a nest, but we know of several places where we still want to explore, and we found some plucking posts, and I think we're getting better idea.
Yeah.
And you've been reading the books a lot.
Yeah. Now that we know that we've got this license, suddenly everything is relevant. Before I was like picking and choosing what I wanted to read, what I found most interesting, but now everything seems important. So yeah, I'm reading with a kind of a lot more focus than I was before. Mainly the Ben Crane book.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing that we really realized in the last sort of few weeks since we made the first episode, is that no matter how much you prepare yourself and talk to people and read, every single sparrowhawk and actually every bird is individual. So we will only really know what we need and how we need to train it once we know it better. So it's all good to prepare. We will obviously try and prepare ourselves as much as we can, and every knowledge will be very useful. But we will not know exactly what is relevant until we get to know the character of the bird. Because it could be disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be disaster because it could be different, very aggressive, very antisocial. Yeah, I don't know if it's really good to prepare for the worst. I think maybe best to hope for the best.
We did see a female spar displaying over our work. Oh, I saw it.
You did, yeah.
Well, not displaying. I don't know. She was on the saw. She was like flap, 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 glide, and she sort of glided down and down. That was the other thing which Martin Maloney said, which was really cool. Which he talked about the display flights. He said if you go out in the morning, looking over the top of these conifer plantations or conifer forests, you'll see the male, and I hadn't picked this up from other sources about the display flight, that the male often, like his final descent, will be down roughly towards where he plans for the nest to be. You know, I hadn't really picked that up, so that's kind
What
of
is a
cool bit of
display
information.
flight? Because I think a lot of people might not know who are listening.
I don't. Well,
What does it look like?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I think basically it's sort of like a lot of birds display flights. I don't know. I mean, maybe I should look up a video or something. But I think it's a kind of it's sort of flapping flight, climbing, and then kind of some swoops. You know, some like long glides down, and then up again, and then flap.
They can
and
also do
something like
food
that.
pass, no? Sometimes. Or is it with other species?
I don't think sparrowhawks do that.
No?
I don't think so.
We should probably put a video on the
See if you can
website.
find something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think that's all on the agenda. Really excited and really terrified. Ed and Anya. Yeah, very, very excited and very, very, very terrified. But in a good way.
Yeah. Right, we're going back to our luxury eco resort.
I think you're just thinking about another coffee. I think we should have another coffee.
Right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon again. Wait, how do sparrowhawks call to each other? The screaming.
Scream.
Some of
They,
this.
they do a kind of. Oh, you. That's pretty good.
That's sparrowhawk screaming for a mate in spring.
Heartbreaking.